The championship round.
Once again for these two men. 11 of the last 12 fights, 5-rounders for Edgar. We mentioned how many 5-rounders in a row Jose Aldo has had. Aldo is 6-0 in 5-round fights that go the distance. His one loss inside the octagon was 13 seconds long. That said, Joe, Andre Pederneiras obviously wanted a little bit more certainty to the fact that Aldo was winning these rounds.
Yeah, I think he believes that Aldo is just faster, moves better, and it doesn't want Frankie getting that close. Frankie's been having a hard time landing anything substantial, Mike, and because of that, he hasn't really gotten Aldo's respect.
And Joe, I was going to ask you, is this starting to get frustrating for Frankie Edgar?
I mean, it must be, but Frankie's used to that. I mean, he's been in some wars.
Knows he's one or two great combinations away from a sudden momentum change. Just kind of fakes the shot, trying to get Aldo to open up. The blue coach is Frankie Edgar's corner.
He's pivoting on his son. Yeah. Toe, 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 toe. Sink, desync. Nice.
Matches levels. Matches levels.
Success. 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 Success.
Off the fence. Off the fence.
Mark Henry very vocal again. Striking coach for Frankie Edgar.
I don't know what he's yelling out because they develop these names for things and codes for techniques, and he changes it all the time. It's one of the interesting things about Mark Henry's coaching. There's a nice left hook by Frankie.
Good pace throughout this entire matchup thus far.
Right hand by Aldo. Another. Good combination by Aldo. Aldo's putting some heat on these punches, Mike. Oh, both men exchange.
You see the damage on the face of Edgar. Aldo looks clean. Look at the numbers, head strikes. Aldo at about 50% efficient, and a lot of blood now coming from above the right eye of Frankie Edgar as he lands a right hand on Aldo's face.
And Aldo landed a right hand on him and then a left. Aldo's just looking to capitalize on the movement of Edgar and catch him coming in.
The most dominant champion at 145 in UFC history.
And this is as good as he's looked in a long time. He looks outstanding tonight.
Like you said, Joe, and he talked about it. When you have that invincibility go away and you got to go home and think about how do you rebuild, this might be the answer. Against the answer, Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, a loss like the Conor McGregor fight could have been the best thing for him. And you're looking at a really rejuvenated Jose Aldo here tonight. But for Frankie, he's still got some time. 20 left in this round and one more round to go. And he's got to make something dramatic happen. He got tagged there. He's running in, and Aldo's doing a great job of sliding back and catching him. Man, just barely missed with that knee.
I saw a quick facial expression of disappointment from Frankie Edgar when he couldn't land that last combination, Joe. Kind of what we were talking about. So your vote stacks up. 5th and final round.
There's that kick.
That was a highly emotional Andre Pederneiras.
It certainly was, and this is a fight that Aldo's winning. It just shows you how important this is to them.
Don't leave it in the judge's hands. And Frankie has had some fantastic 5th round finishes.
But again, we should point to Aldo's conditioning. He looks great and relaxed here in his 5th round. Doesn't look like he's slowing down at all.
And as we talked about, Joe, it's been a style of fight that has impressed his cardio like it would be if they were clinching and wrestling and working on the ground.
Nasty left hand there by Aldo. Good kick by Frankie.
There will be a certain sense of urgency from Frankie Edgar here in the 5th.
Oh, high kick by Aldo. The power he possesses. Makes every exchange different. Very dangerous when you're in there with Aldo.
12th time Edgar, scheduled for 5. It's gone the distance 7 times.
Aldo caught him with the left hand there.
Frankie 7-3-1 in fights that go 25 minutes. Jose Aldo 6-0. Just over 3 on the clock.
Oh, good right hand by Aldo again. But he is planting and bombing on that shot.
Deep in this championship fight. And officially, Joe, now Frankie Edgar is the first fighter in UFC history to log 6 hours of octagon time.
And he is a bloody mess right now, Mike. A lot of blood coming out of that right eye and his nose. And Aldo connected again.
Any questions about the psyche and mental state of Jose Aldo answered quite brightly here in this 5-round fight.
Yeah, he might have taken a little while to get loose, but he has looked sensational in this fight. Very relaxed. And again, this is against a very, very dangerous and skillful challenge in Frankie Edgar.
A Frankie Edgar who's been on a roll. A Frankie Edgar who hasn't lost since they first fought back in 2013.
Not only is he not lost, he hasn't lost many rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the worst performance of the last few years for Frankie. And I don't even think you should say it that way. I think you should say it's one of the best performances of Jose Aldo's recent career.
It's the first time in a long time we haven't seen the offensive strategy of Frankie Edgar work.
Well, Aldo just carries so much more consequence with his shots. When he's dropping them in on Frankie, they are hurting. And Frankie's punches and his kicks are sort of just kind of reaching Aldo and landing, but they don't seem to have the same kind of impact.
1 minute remains in this fight. The champion, Conor McGregor, in the first row, watching very closely. Sold out. 19,000 in attendance. UFC 200. Looking for that knee late.
Yeah, I mean, it's very dangerous for Frankie to move in on this guy. He's doing such a good job of countering, and he is looking for those bombs, that knee to the body and to the face, and that right hand as well.
Spin and a miss. Aldo's looking for the knee. 15. Championship fight. And they go the distance.
49-46 and 48-47 for the winner by unanimous decision. And now, the UFC interim featherweight champion of the world, Jose Aldo.